Today we're talking about the 5 biggest lessons of the INFJ door slam. The INFJ door slam happens when an INFJ has done absolutely everything in their power to, mend relationships with another person. They've tried to help them, they've tried to make them understand, they've tried to create some kind of good relationship, and the other person has not done their share of work. They have disappointed you, they have betrayed you, they have shown you over and over again that no matter how much you put into this relationship, they are not going to reciprocate even a bit. And when that happens, an INFJ has had enough. That's when an INFJ really slams that door and is able to move on once and for all. For the other person, this is extremely traumatizing because they didn't expect this from you. They felt like you were this puppy dog who would do everything for them, and now they recognize that you had the power all along. But this scenario isn't just traumatizing for the other person, it's also really traumatizing for the INFJ. And so today we're looking at it from the INFJ perspective of what are the 5 biggest lessons from the INFJ door slam. Before we get started, I want to remind you, if you haven't done this so far, to download the free poster on the INFJ Epic Life formula. And if you want to take to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. Lesson number 1, letting out anger is healthy. What a lot of people don't recognize, and I think a lot of INFJs don't recognize when they've gotten to that point of, the INFJ door slam is really necessary, is that they have been holding back a lot of anger. There are so many moments when they try to justify the other person's behavior. We try to make it make sense in our mind, and we actually have empathy for the other person. This is actually based on stuff we probably experienced in childhood, because back then, if somebody abandoned you, let's say a parent, and I'm not even talking about real abandonment, it doesn't have to be this, drastic. It can just be, the way I am isn't accepted by somebody who I need as my protection. So the thing we tell ourselves is, there's a reason why they're acting this way. I can understand where they're coming from. This is an important coping mechanism because we're just too young and too inexperienced and too innocent to understand what is really going on. We cannot handle this kind of pain. So this coping mechanism is the best thing our mind does. But now we're adults. And now we have to learn that it's not necessary to continuously go through those coping mechanisms just to survive. Once you get to a place where this coping mechanism doesn't work because you have cognitive dissonance, meaning your reality is showing you over and over again that it contradicts to your worldview, right? You think that's a good person and they continuously do bad things. At some point you have to recognize, I was wrong. That person is not good. So what happens in that moment is not only that you slam the door and you say, okay, I'm not going to have anything to do with that person. There's a lot of anger that gets out. Because slamming that door, knowing that it will hurt another person, is a lot of anger that is actually let out. We have taken on so much of negative energy ourselves that was not meant for us because we weren't the one who created it, and now we let it out. And we're so afraid of it because it feels like once we open those gates, there is no end to it. Like, who am I going to be once I actually show this side of myself? But once we're actually forced to do it, we recognize, there is an end to this anger. This is a good thing because underneath this anger, there's pain, there's grief. I can actually heal something. And it's a completely human emotion. Feeling anger and expressing anger is a healthy thing. Unless you're somebody who has real anger problems, this is healthy. And for INFJs who tend to really suppress that anger, it's even more important to understand that expressing anger is a vital point to a healthy psyche. And it's on us to understand, I don't have to wait this long. If somebody does something which I don't like, it's okay for me to voice that, to make it a point. I'm not going to only look at it from their perspective. It's about time that I start looking at things from my perspective. And guess what? What that person just did wasn't okay, and I will let them know. The second lesson is that you understand that holding back for so long is just not worth it. The longer you wait, the harsher the slap is. The harsher the door slam, the harsher the disconnect. It is so painful. As I said, this is a traumatizing thing, not just for the other person, but for us as well. That if we've done this a couple of times, we really get to a place where we say, like, this is not worth it. This is so painful. I don't want to experience this again. And it's not even worth it because you will never be able to hold on to that. See, the reason why we hold off on the door slam for so long, and once we get to a place where we have no other choice, we actually do door slam, we recognize that we never had a chance to begin with. If you have like this black and white scenario of, you think that's a good person, but that's a bad person, of course, it's always a gray area, but, just take it for this example of, if you continuously try to prove to yourself that this is a good person and they continuously prove to you, no, 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 you can continue that path. You will never change the fact that the last 10 things they showed you were, I just don't care about you. I have weaknesses within me that don't allow me to consider your emotions, whatever it may be. And so you recognize that you are chasing something that is unattainable. What you are chasing is the fact that, your worldview is actually valid, which is that person has no fault and you take all responsibility. It will never be that. And no matter what you do, you can never prove this to yourself. And so once you've gotten to this place of door slam, so often you recognize the reason why you let it go this far was of things that were in the past, of things you had to learn for yourself. And then you recognize, I'm not going to do this anymore. It's not worth it. It doesn't lead to anything. It's a lesson that I will take with me forever. And from that moment on, you will start taking people at like face value. Maybe not completely, but definitely more than before. And you'll start seeing yourself as a human being as well, who deserves your own protection. It's time you become your own parent to your inner child and you start protecting yourself more than you're protecting another person. That doesn't mean that you will become mean towards others or a bad person. It just means that you also protect yourself. And it starts with that. Lesson number 3. You learn to take people at face value. Believe them when they show you who they are. We learn that we cannot continue this narrative of, that person doesn't call me because they have inner turmoil and I did something wrong and so on. No. Look at the facts. That person didn't call you, although that would be, the correct way to do it. That would be the decent thing to do it. That's what I would have been doing. And if they're acting this way, then they don't need your appreciation, period. And those are things you learn the more often you are in the situations where you have to door slam. You learn that you cannot continue to build up this version of that person and to see all of their potential and who they could be. You actually start making conclusions based on their behavior and the things that are objectively happening. Lesson number 4, you learn that you can take rejection. If an INFJ is forced to door slam, then even if the INFJ comes out as the winner in the end, that you feel like, okay, I stood my ground, I showed that person that I'm not a pushover, I actually left them and did my own thing, in the end, it will still feel like rejection because that's not something you wanted to do. And that person showed you once and for all, they really don't give you the respect that you deserve. And you finally take the step to end this. But the thing is this, if you've done this a couple of times, you can handle it. You understand that it has nothing to do with you. With every single time you experience this, you understand that you rely on you when it comes to how you feel about yourself. Do you like yourself? Are you taking steps that make you proud of yourself? And so through facing that rejection, we learn that we're so much more independent than we think. And it allows us to actually go ahead and do the things that will make us happy and that will make us proud of ourselves. Although they might mean that another person will reject us for us, we can handle it. And this is one of the great things we actually learn from those door slam situations. Lesson number 5. You learn that you're not responsible for others. So often we actually get in those situations because we feel we have to help that person. We feel like I'm the only one who understands what they're going through. There's so much pain and it's on me to make them feel better. It's my responsibility. That's how it feels like. But that's just not the case. We have to understand that the only way somebody can really help a person is if they want that help. And if that person continuously doesn't want your help because they're not able to face what is going on within them, then it's on us to say, I'm okay with that. You are worth so much more than what you're doing for other people. INFJs carry this burden with themselves of, I am valuable because of what I can do for others, how I can help them. And if I'm not doing that, if I'm choosing me over their pain, then that means I'm not worth it, because I won't mean that much to that person anymore. I will be worthless to them. And if I'm worthless to them, then I am worthless, period. That is something that we learn because of those situations. Because once we're in the situation and we really start feeling worthless, because the only clues that we took on if we're worth it or not, or if we're a good person, are based on how that other person feels, we recognize I have to change this. I cannot continue to rely on how other people feel about me. I have to start giving myself the feeling of worthiness. I have to define what makes me happy with who I am. And this shift, although it's very painful, it's the key to really starting to live the life you always wanted. And we as INFJs are mentally extremely strong. Those situations are not easy, and a lot of people will shy away from them. We can handle it. This is a moment of transformation. So take it as a gift. We understand that we are not responsible for others' life outcome. And once you understand this, you also understand how much you are responsible for your own outcome. You are responsible for your outcome and they're responsible for their outcome. That's their prerogative. If they want to do something that's healthy or good for them or not, that's on them. That's the freedom that comes with it. And we have the freedom and the prerogative to decide that for ourselves. Remember, if you want some more guidelines into pushing into that situation of giving yourself everything you need in order to create your life on your terms, then check out the INFJ Epic Life formula poster. And if you want to take it to the next level, then get the INFJ Epic Life audio guide. Everything you need to know you can find in the links in the description. And if you want to watch another video now that is in alignment with today's topic, then watch the video Why the INFJ is So Extremely Dangerous.